Hey y'all, Casey here. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest recent threats to due process in America: cancel culture. What is cancel culture? Well, when I say cancel culture, I mean the practice of harming people's lives via the dissemination of unproven accusations. My initial definition was much less charitable, if you can believe that. Twitter mobs are the most egregious perpetrators of cancel culture, but cancel culture does not only exist on Twitter and has seemingly oozed its horrid little tentacles into every nook and cranny of contemporary life. As an attorney, and especially as a former public defender, cancel culture is extremely troubling to me. All those hard-won protections and rights that we fought for to keep ourselves safe from the ever-overreaching hand of the government and other accusers? No problem. Thanks to cancel culture, you no longer have to worry about clumsy things like the Constitution getting in your way. Who needs due process when you can just tweet about something you heard someone might have done and help ruin their life with no hope for redemption? I sure hope these people don't complain when the cops show up to their house, bust down the door without a warrant, and take them to jail because someone heard that they maybe said something bad 20 years ago. Your constitutional right to face your accuser? No need for that now that we have cancel culture. Your right to cross-examine the witnesses against you? Don't need that. Your right to be considered innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Well, that idea was invented by a bunch of old white guys, so we should probably dump that one. Even just as a human on this earth, I find cancel culture deeply disturbing because it does not happen in a historical vacuum. People might argue that it's being used for good right now, which I disagree with, but let's say for argument's sake that it is. The ends do not justify the means. How you get a certain result matters. You have to show the math. In this case, the ends are ruining bad people's lives, and the means are circumventing due process and other inalienable rights. Historically, cancel culture, or public shaming, was used to ostracize or suppress people who were outside the norm. People who did things that most people did not like or did not approve of. Like, being gay. It might not come with the same torches and pitchforks that it once did, but it is and has always been a tyrannical tool used to oppress people. Cancel culture condemns people based on unproven accusations with no thought to what comes next. People don't just stop existing once they've been canceled. They still need everything that the rest of us need. They still need food, water, shelter, all of it. They continue to be a part of the same world that we all live in. But cancel culture does not care about any of that, and that is unacceptable, even for people who have maybe done something wrong. We need to allow people to grow. We need to allow people to become better than their worst moment. A phrase I have frequently told clients, judges, and DAs is that no one should be defined by their worst moment, and I believe that that applies here as well. The extra bizarre thing to me is that cancel culture, at least in recent years, has been predominantly used by leftists who are generally also the same people who are for things like defunding the police and abolishing prisons. Like, do you all not see the cognitive dissonance? The punitive nature of cancel culture actually incentivizes people to lean into their misconduct. Can't get a job now because you did one bad thing, got a felony, and went to prison? Oh well, looks like crime's the only way forward. Got canceled because you said something when you were young and dumb that you no longer agree with, and now all your friends have abandoned you? Well, I bet those people over there who are actually harming people would love to accept you. Surely nothing can go wrong with that, huh? In case people think that accusers never lie, oh boy, can I tell you that that is wrong. The number of domestic violence cases that I have seen where the alleged victim has entirely fabricated the accusations is alarming. The first time I had a case like that, I was like, oh, wow, I got this like 1 in a million case. Holy cow, that's crazy. And then I got another just like it. And then another. And then another. Like, there was a case where the victim tweeted out about how her boyfriend didn't put any hands on her, and she actually just reported him on domestic violence allegations because he wouldn't give her money to buy the things that she wanted. At least when people make these accusations in the legal realm, you have the right to a trial. There are some protections against people being punished for things they never did. But with cancel culture, all those protections go out the window. And this is all not to say that the legal system is perfect. It is far from perfect. However, just because it is not perfect does not mean that we should turn to cancel culture or mob rule. Cancel culture also has some troubling free speech implications. The threat of the mob deciding to excommunicate you from the leftist church can be a really scary thing. The fear created by even the potential for a statement to piss off the mob can have a chilling effect on free speech. I use that wording very intentionally because it is the same wording used to argue against unduly burdensome restrictions imposed by the government on free speech. It can be hard to speak freely when you're worried about the thought police coming for you. I will note that the frenzied mobs are just the tip of the iceberg. The much more insidious portion of cancel culture is all of the people that silently go along with it. I have much too often seen people talk about how cancel culture is dumb, and then in the very next breath go on to talk about how so-and-so is bad because they heard a thing. Again, the cognitive dissonance just doesn't make sense to me. When challenged, they might say something about how the conduct in this particular instance is particularly egregious, so cancel culture is okay for this one time. The standard for proving someone is guilty of murder is the same standard for proving someone is guilty of trespass. The misconduct alleged has no bearing on the process afforded to an individual. We must not allow the mob to rule. If you got something out of this video, don't just click that like button and subscribe. Instead, make a commitment to yourself to stand up to cancel culture. Stand up to the mob. I know it can be scary to be one standing against an angry mass, but if no one does it, nothing will change. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time.